Hello there survivors, and welcome back to another build tutorial in ARK Survival Ascended. Today I'm showing you how to build this Viking Stave Church step by step so you can use it as your own base. This is a big building with multiple layers, so you have plenty of space for your bedroom, for your kitchen, for all of your storage, your crafting stations, and even some of your dinos, because it uses a normal gateway, so everything that fits through that can easily go inside and be dropped off, whether that is gathering tames, your flyers, or your early game tames. They can all easily go inside and be safe. Now, if you enjoyed these build tutorials and you want to continue to see more, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and feel free to leave your suggestions for future builds down in the comments below. And if you want to show even more support, you can always consider becoming a YouTube member, because tier 2 YouTube members actually get early access to all the videos that I post. Of course, as usual, we want to start out by placing down the foundation. Now, the best option is to go a little bit higher above the ground and of course have a relatively flat spot to work with, because it's a decently sized building. And then we want to place 6 foundations down in total like this, and then extend them by 2 in the middle like so. This is going to be the left side of our building, and then this one here on the front we're going to take out to be 6 in total as well. So this makes 3, and then 3 more going out like so. Then over here we're going to take it out by 2 in total, and then we'll make this front 4 total foundations, so like this. And then we'll bring it back to the same layer we started on, taking this one out by 6 in total as well. Then of course we can make this side 6 as well to kind of line up with where we started, and we can go all the way back to the other side to make this shape complete. And then we can actually start filling in the entire foundation. Now, if you're building somewhere that isn't completely flat, of course you can also use ceilings, and then use pillars for your foundation support and walls on the outside to hide everything. But yeah, the best of course, or the easiest way, is to find a spot where you have enough room to place down all of these foundations to make your building happen, and then fill it all the way in like so to get our start going. Then here on the outside we're going to take out triangles. We're going to only count the ones on the outside, so this is 2 and this makes 3 in total here on the outside. That is what we want. Then we continue over here, we go out by 3 as well. And then on the other side, it should also be 3 on the outside to line back up. And then once again, of course, we can start filling in the rest of this shape to make sure that we've got the whole foundation ready. And then this is what we'll be working with today. Now, of course, here at the front, or this is going to be the front, the entrance, we're going to add in stairs so that we can easily get up to where the entrance is going to be. And if allowed, we can place a sloped wall at the sides to kind of close off this shape and make it look a little bit nicer. Okay, then we want to add in a nice gate here in the front. Now, you can add it in like normal, or you can flip it around, because that way it will stick out a little bit more from the wall, adding a little bit more depth to your build. And of course, we can also add the gate in there so that we, can open and close it and keep our inside base safe. Then we'll take out our wood pillar, and we'll start here on the corner by going up by 2 in total. And we'll do the same over here. Leave a gap of 2 and place pillars every 2 like so to get this shape going. Doing the same thing over here, over there, and over here as well, continuing like this. Then on this side we can basically keep that shape going, so every 2 we'll place a pillar down here as well, which should line up with the middle of the gate. And then we can just keep going all the way till the other corner over here. Now, of course, on this side it's going to mirror what we did, so we're going to be placing these pillars every 2 foundations until we reach this part. Then on this part, we want to have the pillars here on these corners to kind of keep that whole shape going. And that's going to start the first layer of our church. Then we'll bring out stone pillars and we'll actually connect them underneath these pillars next to our foundations. You don't really need these, but I think it just looks a little bit better, adds a little bit of shape into the building because it adds just that little detail on the foundation level. So yeah, we just go around the entire build and add in these extra supports just as a small extra detail for this shape of our building, the foundation of our building. And yeah, of course you could leave this out if you want to save on materials, but I really do prefer the look of this. Then it's time to take out all windows and we'll add in 2 right here, 2 right there, and then nothing here. But of course we'll add 2 more here in the middle. Then on this side, we'll continue the same pattern. So we're skipping 1 each time. Then here in the middle, we're going to skip 2. And we'll have windows here and windows there. We'll have a 1 in the middle here on this diagonal part. That means we'll do the same over here. And then here on this side, we'll have 2 on the side. And then here, of course, we'll have windows and then here again. So kind of following that pattern everywhere. And then we can start by adding in the normal walls. So we'll have walls like this, 2 high. And then these ones will also completely fill in, 2 high, 1 above here. And then this is where we can start filling in all of these walls to make our building take shape a little bit more. So we'll just go around and basically fill up all these empty spaces that we've created. So that we have the first layer of our church completely filled in and ready to go almost. So yeah, and I personally, of course, have flipped these walls with the what is normally on the inside here on the outside because I really like those textures a little bit more. But of course, you're free to change that around if you prefer it the other way around. I just think this looks a little bit nicer. And then actually here in the middle parts of these sides above the wall where we have no windows, we want to take out the upper 2. So we'll take those out and we'll do that on both sides of the building, taking all of these out. All right, then it's time to take out a ceiling, not snapping it to the top of the wall, but rather halfway through. And we'll take it out by 2 like this, next to the wall that we have. And then we'll start following this wall around the building, going all the way up to here. Don't go out any further than this, so just this corner. Same thing here on the other side. We'll go along and follow the shape of the building. Then over here, we want to take out our triangle pieces and start going along this part of the build as well. Just following the whole shape, placing down these triangles all the way along. And then on this side of the building, we can just continue adding in our ceilings. This side, of course, is a little bit easier. Here at the back, you can just continue the same thing in a straight line. Although if you prefer, you could, of course, build the same entrance on both sides of your building if you really need a little bit of extra space and maybe the double entrance. Take out those slope walls and right over here we'll add in a little slope roof like this. It will all be explained in a little bit when we start with the roofs. We'll do the same thing over here. We can actually also do it here on the end of the building. And then on this side we're going to repeat the same thing. So where we cut out the walls is where we want to make these little roofs in front. Now, if you do not have the frontier pack, you might just want to have scaffolding like this, so the slope wall. But if you do have the frontier pack or the Bob Talltales DLC, you can actually add in proper scaffolding and make this look like nice supports like so. And then here on the side, we're going to do this as well, just to kind of support the roof that is going to be. Same thing here on the front. We can also support the roof like this. And then here, of course, every time there's a pillar, we want to add in all support like so. Here at the end as well, you want to make sure that we add in all supports like that. And then, of course, here we can line them up with the pillars once more. Like this. Continuing all the way along the back of the building until we meet up with the other side once more. And there we go. Now all we need to do is look at the front right here. We'll add in the sloped walls like so. And then the other ones we can't quite add in yet because we can't place anything above the gate. But it is time to start with the roof. So we'll add in our roof pieces like this, continuing all the way up until we're in the middle above the gate. And then we should be able to take it down on the other side like so, bringing a nice entrance for this. And now you should be able to take out the slope walls, add them in right here to finish the front of the building. Then we can take out our corners right over here, fill in this corner, and then get going with our roofs once more. Here, of course, we're going to fill in more corners like this. And then we actually want to make it stick out like that a little bit. Fill in this corner once more. And then we can just continue. This is going to be another corner. Normal roof. Another corner over here. And we can stick it out by one roof over on this side. Making this end look a little bit nice like this. Place in that one. Add in another corner. Continuing it all the way like until we're over here. And then we can add in normal roofs. And then basically just follow the shape. So this is going to be another one of these additions to the roof. And then we can start filling it in all the way through. This is a little bit of the easy part. And then this is where we once again go to the corners, make this shape, and then we can continue once more. Now here on the other side, of course, we also want to make sure that we fill in this corner. Then we have this little special bit with all the corner pieces like so, filling this in, and then we should reach the end where we have the rounded off bit. So we want to go to the triangle roofs now, and then we can just kind of follow along the shape like so, making sure we blend in the roof quite nicely like this. And this is only the first layer of the roof, but it does already give a little bit of a better idea of the whole shape the building is going to take. All right, now it's time to start the second layer of the roof. We want to go out like this. So from that corner you go up. Then we can just keep following this until we reach the corner here of the roof. This we can just connect back up to each other. So we have another corner going on like there, following the roof until this corner. Then we can go with a normal roof all the way until the other side, where we once again go into the rounded bit. But first, let's finish this side here as well. So we'll fill in the roof just like this all the way until the end. Then we can take out our triangles once more and fill in the rounded shape at the back of the building. So these two layers of roofs is what is gonna be enough for this layer of the build. There we go. And we'll leave the gap here on the front because we're gonna fill that in a little bit differently. Okay, now it's time to start for the next layer. So we're going to place beams along the top of this part of our roof, going all the way around until, well, we've circled back to the entrance. So yeah, we'll just add beams to the top of this roof. Also here for the rounded part here at the side of the building. And then all the way until we're back here to the start. Now it's time to take out the pillars again. Now, first of all, the easy part is going to be on this side, where we're going to raise it up by 2 here at the end. And of course, 2 here and 2 over there as well. Then we're also going to add in 2 here on this end, because that is of course where we're going to have another addition to the building to make it a little bit more interesting. We're also going to add 1 pillar going down over there. And then we kind of want to follow what we did before. So 2 pillars here and 2 pillars there to kind of line up the way we had them before. And then we'll do the same thing here at the back. So gaps of 2 for all of these pillars so that this all lines up in a similar fashion. Then here on this side, of course, we want to make sure that we add in the pillars here on the corner, as well as here in the middle. And we want to add in 3 pillars in total over here on this corner. And then in between, we want to have a gap of 2 over here for the pillars. And then we have a gap of 1 only on this side because of the shape of the building. But of course, we want to mimic this on the other side as well, filling in the pillars like this. And then we can have 1 more pillar there in the middle. Then we're going to take out the beams again, and then here on the inside, we're going to connect these 2. So we're going to have the beams go to that pillar that we had supporting downwards. And we'll do the same over here. This is kind of where this whole part of the building is going to be supported at. And what you might want to do here on the inside is add 1 of those scaffoldings to make it look a little bit better supported. And again, if you don't have those, you can also use a slope wall instead. Okay, then we're going to take out wooden walls and fill in these sides of this building. And then also on this side like this. Then here on the front, we want to add in some of these slope walls at the end of the roof, like this. Add in some walls like so that it is all nicely lined up. And then adding in 2 windows right there in the middle. And filling in normal walls on the corners. You can, of course, change this to your personal need, especially depending on what you're going to do on the inside. But what I like to do to bring in some extra light is to add a bunch of windows here on this layer. And the same thing here on the other side, just to bring in as much light as possible from this side. So we're basically just going to go around adding in a layer of windows so that, especially if you do not build a full floor, it's just going to bring in a little bit of extra light options from these windows. There we go, all the way around. And then, of course, also here on this side. Although what you could do here is you can either do it full like this, but you can also choose to only do the middle 2 instead of the whole wall. And then we want to fill in this part with walls too. We'll fill in these and this, and then we'll leave this one open again. So we'll do the same thing over here. We can start filling this part in all the way until over here. Leave this one open and fill these ones in again all the way around. And then over here, fill this one in, leave this one open, and fill this one in. So this is what the layer should look like. And then, of course, the slope walls can go like this. We can fill it in with some normal walls and another layer of slope walls to reach the top of this part of the building. Then we can take out the wooden ceilings again, bring it out like this, and then start going around the building again. So all the way around, also on this side, and then all the way following the shape of the building. Like so. And again, it's halfway through the wall, not on top of the wall, but just above the window line. And then, of course, here at the end, we want to switch to our triangles to bring them around this side all the way until we're back to the normal part. And then we'll continue a little bit more until we're back at the entrance like so. Once more, we'll take out the scaffolding to support this all. So we'll add them in like this at these pillars, as well as here on the front. like so. Also filling them in over here at these pillars. One more over here. Then once more, we can have them at the ending here. And then here at the back, we can also have a bunch of these supports to make it look like the whole building gets some proper supports in there and isn't just like floating magically, because it is a rather large building and a rather large roof, of course. So this just adds that little bit of extra detail to it. There we go. Then we can take out some slope walls. We can add 2 of them right over here. Over there. We can actually also add one on these corners, on these ends. Add them over here. And add them over there on the other side as well. Once again, that should get this layer ready to start placing down the roofs. And then we can start adding in the roof once again. So we'll start right over here, following the shape of this part of the front. The nice little roof that we want over here. So we'll follow this like so. Then we can also fill in these twos. Taking out the corners, filling in this, all the way like that. And then, of course, that corner over there as well. Picking our roofs, filling in this side through the other end. And another corner. Normal roof over there. And then these corners once more to make this nice little shape. Then we can bring it all the way across pretty much until the other side. And then over here we have one more of these interruptions to break up the roof a little bit. There we go. 2 more normal roofs before we go into our triangles to build around the building like this. Just to kind of have a nice rounded end. And I quite like the differences on each side. So we'll fill in these ones, fill in that one, take out our corners, and fill in the entire shape like so. Of course, that's only the start, because we do want to add another layer to this. So right over here, we're going to add that layer in all the way over here. Leave that open. 2 more over here at the end. Leave the corner open for now, and then we can go all the way across on this side here as well. Until we reach this side where we're going to have the rounded bit. And on this other side, we'll do the same thing all the way until over here. Fill in this part, fill in that part, and start adding in the corners like so, like this. One over here. Continuing back to this side, we'll have a nice corner over there as well. And then, of course, changing back to our triangles, we can round off the roof here at the ending too, like so. There we go. And then here at the front, we can actually add in 2 more like this, but leave this one open for now. And that's another layer of the church ready. We're going to take out our beams again, and we're going to follow the shape of the top of this roof once more. Adding in our beams as the support for the next layer. So we're just going to be following the roof all the way until the other side. Going round at the end and then following it back up over this way as well. There we go. And here we're going to go right like this. And then we actually want to make sure that we connect these 2 pieces. So have a beam going across like that. Actually, we want to break up this one to kind of mirror that shape. So we're going out by 1 more and then fill in beams across like so as well. Same thing over here. We want to have those beams going across and those beams going across there as well. So basically, we're literally making a cross here in the middle of the building. Then here at the back of our build, what we want to do is add our sloped walls like this. And then add in our normal walls at the back here. Adding in the pillars to kind of support this whole little bit that sticks out. Once more, we can take out our pillars. We can make them too high here at the end, like this. Too high over here and over there on the other side. Then we want to have them too high over here and too high over there. So that mirrors this bit that we have below. We'll do the same thing over here. Then on the other side of the building, we want to raise this up by 2. Then leave a gap of 2 and raise up these pillars as well. Okay, and then the crosshair in the middle, it's going to be quite simple. We want to raise these up by 4 in total. So like this, like that. And then for all these other corners, we're going to be doing the same thing. So 4 in total for all of these to kind of raise them up a little bit higher than the other parts. And we want to do the same thing here for these corners in the middle. Raise up these pillars as well. There we go. All right, we'll take out our walls, fill in this like so, all the way up for these corners. And we're going to do the same for all 4 corners, of course. So just filling up the walls to the height of the current pillars. So like this, like that. And then the last one as well. There we go. We're adding a ceiling in this corner, and in every other corner, of course, as well. Again, 1 from the top, so not all the way at the top of these walls. Then we can add in our slope walls like so. So literally creating that little corner that we're going to have here, because these are going to be a little tower in the middle of our building. So all the corners are going to be like that. Then we can take out our windows, add them in between. So like this. And we'll do the same thing on every one of the sides of these towers. And then we can fill in the top here with the slope walls as well. So filling in the last remaining bits like this. Then here on the front, we can just fill in the rest of the wall up until the window like that. The same here at the back, we can fill it in as well. These other sides will wait a little bit until we fill in the rest of the roof. But for now, that is going to be the start of the tower in the middle. Then we're going to focus our attention here on the sides. Here we want to add in a bunch of windows once more to let in the light. But of course, feel free to change this depending on what you want and need to do on the inside of your building. And then here on the other side, we're going to do the same exact thing. So we can go around all the way with our windows like so until we reach back to where we just built the tower. Then we can have our normal walls and fill in the next layer of the building, going once more all the way around until these side additions are too high and line up with the pillars that we've already placed down for these. So just like that, we'll fill in this entire layer of the building like so. Then we can take out the ceilings and we can start going around the building. We're just going to follow the shape once more. And once again, it's not from the top of the walls, but it's halfway through just above the windows that we've just placed. You can just let it go in to the tower, to the side of the tower. And then on the other side, we're going to continue once again. So we'll go all the way until there's a rounded bit. Then, of course, on the other side, we're going to do the exact same thing. So add in the ceilings like that. And for the rounded bit, we want to change to our triangle ceilings and make sure that we connect both of these up around the end of the building. Then we'll take out our wooden roofs and start filling in it like so. The same thing over here, except of course for where the corners are going to be. We'll continue on the other side of the building. Start filling it all in like so. Same thing over here, filling in this layer. Continuing on the other side, filling this in as well. All the way back up to the tower, just like that. And then on this side, the same thing. So we'll fill it in all the way into the corner, all the way like so. And then these two down here. Then we can take our roof corners and start filling in these last gaps of the roof by making these corners turn around quite nicely. So that's going to be the look for this side of the building. Then on the other side, of course, we don't really have any corners. Actually, we want to fill in these last bits. I don't know why I skipped those. We want to change to our triangles. And of course, start with the shape rounding around the rest and the ending of the building. And then same thing here on this layer. So kind of nicely rounding out that part of the building. Then we can take our slope walls and fill in these parts. So we'll have some slope walls just above the roof line to fill in this part of the building. We can take out our roofs and fill in a little line on the outside of all of these sides of the tower. Like so. Just to get it started. Just following the outline of the towers so that we have a nice overhang on the outside. Okay, and then we can fill in these parts with roof pieces as well. Just leaving out the middle because we're going to in fact raise the tower even more after this. So we'll take our corners and fill in this part of the building, leaving the other part open. Just these corners down here to get that shape in the part of the tower. Okay, we can take out the wood pillar and raise it up by 2 more from the corners of these roofs that we have right now. We'll take out our windows, start filling in the walls between them like so. Take out our slope walls, fill in these gaps on top of the roofs like this, all the way around, of course, so that it looks all nice and good. And then we can take out our wooden ceilings and fill in a layer around our tower like so. We can take out our wooden scaffolding or slope walls again, and we can add in some supports around the tower because of course we don't want it to look weird or floating. So we're gonna go around like that, and then we can actually do that here on these layers as well. So we can add in the support if you like it all the way around. It just makes it look like it's not all floating, but it's been properly held up by some supporting pieces. And I think we might also still want to add that in on this layer like we did for all of the other layers before. So just gonna go around where pillars are and adding in some of other supports like this. All the way around over here. Also here on these ends. Like so. And then just continuing all the way back up until we reach the tower like so. So everything should now be nice and supported. Then the top layer of our tower is going to be nice and simple. So the middle two, we're going to add in our roofs like this, like that. And then of course the same thing here over this side. Then we can add in our corner all the way around to finish up this layer and this part of the build. And then the top part is just all going to be corners to finish this tower and this part of the roof. There we go. And to make the tower a little bit more steep, what you can do, you can add in a little wooden pillar, thin pillar on there to add to it, or even a Western frontier skin lantern, the whole lantern on there, because that can also look quite cool. Then we'll take out our wooden beams and we'll go across the top of this part of the roof, as well as these bits that stick out here on the front as well, just to add some more details to these roofs. So yeah, you just want to go around this first layer and make sure you do that to add in our details like so, and then we can move on to the next layer. I think it's always easiest to do this per layer, so you keep track of what you've done and what you haven't done, and you don't really forget. And then of course here on the front we want to have another one of those here as well, and then here on the top of this part of the roof, here at the tower as well, we want to make sure we add in that detail. Same here at the back all the way until the end, and then here too. So all the roof lines are aligned with the beams. Then it's time to bring out our wooden railing to add some more details to some of these roofs. Starting here on this side, what we want to do is flip them upside down, add them along the top line of the roof like this to add some details. And then what you want to do is make sure you align with those railings, get the right snap point, and continue them above as well to kind of get that more iconic Viking ending detail for your roofs. We don't have to do that here on these ends. Of course, also not on the rounded ends, but at the front and at the tower, we can definitely add more of those in. So here at the end of this roof, we're going to fill in these railings as extra details like so. Then trying to get the right snap points. We're going to add in these endings like this so that they are nice and stand out a little bit more than our default roof. So we'll do the same thing for here. And there we go. We can make this stick out. Same thing on the other side, because it just makes the roof stand out a little bit more, right? And then on here on the tower, we want to do the same thing. So we can start by adding all these pieces in, and then once more making sure with the right snap points that we get these details in like so, going all the way around, making sure we add them in for all sides. There we go. Just keeping this going all the way across like so, and one more, add them in like this, just to add in those nice details and add a little bit more character to the building. Now what you can also do if you like, I kind of like the look of this, is add these to the end. Now this might not work if you can't overlap, I'm not quite sure, but otherwise this is always a nice addition to your roofs, just to add a little bit of extra detail to the ending. Again, it just adds a little bit of character in my opinion, but yeah, you can definitely leave this out if you don't like the look of these. But otherwise, yeah, you just can go around adding in these railings to the ends. I just think it's just another little extra detail for your roof to spice it up even more. The only downside is you can't do it around the rounded bit of the roof, because for some reason they don't really have the same snap points. So yeah, you can't really get them in the right place. So only on the other sides of the building like so. And of course we can do that for pretty much every layer, just as an extra detail, as I said. So yeah, just go around, add these around if you like the look of them. They will of course require a bunch more railings for your building. To make the roof stand out a little bit more, what you could do is add the frontier skin to make it a little bit darker, because that's a nice and quick way to get it to have a slightly different look. But if you do not have this skin, don't worry, you can also just paint it in like a grayish, brownish or black color, just to make it a little bit darker, stand out from the normal wood, because I think otherwise it kind of blends in together and that doesn't look nearly as good. But of course, if you do have the frontier skin, this is just a little bit faster, easier than having to paint your entire roof. And the texture of the roof stays pretty similar to the basic texture with this skin, so it's not a too big departure, but it does look a whole lot nicer, because this darker tint of the roof kind of nicely combines with the lighter color of the wooden walls, beams, railings, everything. So yeah, I would just go around all the way and change all these roofs or paint all these roofs into a slightly darker color. Then we want to change to the frontier glass structures to actually make these into small windows so you can actually use them, because otherwise they're kind of pointless to have because, well, you can't do anything with them. But with the frontier skin, it adds a window. We really just need this as a default option as well, because it would just be really nice to make these small window additions to your buildings like this. But until that time, if you do have the frontier skin, this is an easy way to fix this. Now here on the front, actually we want to add in these slope walls. Somehow we forgot that as well, just to kind of fill in those gaps. Of course, for all of these windows, we probably want to add in our little doors as well. Just because otherwise it looks a little bit silly. I would open them, of course, or turn them into the frontier variant, because with the glass you can make these into nice little windows and you can still be able to see through them. Or even the steampunk variant, I think, does the same thing. But yeah, you definitely want to still be able to see through them once you've placed in all of these windows. So I would definitely recommend using a skin like that to still be able to see out, or of course just opening them all afterwards, because that will also add another layer of depth to your build. So yeah, just go all the way around, which is unfortunately a little bit more complicated in survival, but definitely worth it in the end, adding in all the different windows like so. There we go, that looks a lot better already. Then we still have some work here on the inside. First of all, we want to place some slope walls here at the additions that we have with the little windows, just to kind of fill that in and don't leave those open spaces. And of course, we have these on a few of the layers. So yeah, you just want to go around adding in these slope walls so you're not looking against those ugly little weird spaces. Although you could also make like hidden doorways from these and add some hidden storage at the sides, especially if you go up and you make like different floors inside of the building to reach, and you know, make into your own little hidden storage place quite easily. There we go. And then what you probably want to do at least is, well, you might want to add in some extra layers. So I would turn in these into floors for sure, all the way across. The real question, of course, is what the most convenient place for a staircase is going to be. And it also depends on what you want to do inside, because if you want to have some of the bigger structures inside, it can actually be beneficial to maybe not fully turn in this layer to a floor, but instead maybe keeping this mostly open or only have parts of it as a next layer, and then going up till you get to the top over here. So we'll fill in this layer for sure, but yeah, the exact layout of the interior is definitely up to whatever you prefer and whatever you want. But this is just one of the suggestions, one of the ways you could do it. If you want to add a whole floor to it, you can actually remove these beams. Those were more supports for during the building, as guidelines almost, to see where we needed to place certain things. And then you could leave this side open so you can have a staircase coming down over here on this side at the front. So we can continue this a little bit more like this. Go into some ceilings, going into the corner, and then once again taking them down a little bit further like so. Going into some ceilings over here and some ceilings over there. Now what I would probably do is just bringing these stairs down after this. So it's basically just a little walkway. As I said, I personally wouldn't turn this floor into another layer unless you really need the space. You can of course do that, but I think it's going to be quite beneficial keeping it open for the higher structures to make it feel not too crowded. But if you want to, you can of course fill in this entire layer as well. You can make multiple changes. You could only leave the middle open, for example, so you could have your industrial forge right there, and then you could probably fill in the sides. So for example, from here you could start filling this in and using this layer as another floor in your building, so like this. And then you could probably have the walkway continue on the other side, so you can still easily access both sides of the building should you need to. And then you could even fill in this side again. So for example, what you would do is leave it open from about here until there, so that if you have like your industrial forge, you can place it down here in the middle. It should have plenty of clearance without getting close to any of your next floors. And yeah, you just have some nice little space and room to use. We'll fill in those as well, adding our railings around so that you don't fall down. Same over here, because I always like this open look, and it's also quite convenient because of course you can bring in your gathering tames through the door. You could even fly your pterodons or RGs in there, so yeah, it just gives you a little bit more space on the inside. But yeah, and then on the side of the stairs, of course, we also want to make sure that we have our railing so you don't easily fall down. I probably would only have one staircase, just convenient with space. And this means that you have a bunch of space on this floor as well. Of course, then you want to fill in this with triangle ceilings too. So yeah, this gives you a big area to use over here for crafting or storage. More crafting and storage down here for sure. Definitely crafting here with the bigger structures, I would say. And then you can go all the way up, maybe for your like living room, stuff like that. You can even create more space, because what you could do, take this away instead of having it like we have right now. And then you can use slope walls to create a little bit more headspace here whilst entering this last floor. And this would probably be like living quarters, your bedroom, maybe some food, a little kitchen, whatever you want to do. But I think that's probably the way that I would divide and decorate the inside. But again, that's totally up to you, depending on if you want to save space or not. You could even add, of course, some supportive beams. But again, that's really up to you, because of course it does take away a little bit of room and space on the inside if you start adding things like this. Although you should still have pretty good room and clearance to go around it all. But yeah, that is just one way of how you could decorate this building. I definitely think you could use this as a good base, because it has a decent amount of space in there. The first layer for the most of your bigger crafting stations, some dino storage as well, because you can easily get everything that fits through a gate in there. Just only your bigger tames wouldn't be able to go inside, but at least your flyers, your early game tames, stuff like that, gatherers, etc. And then of course, yeah, you have plenty of space for all your storage, your cryos, whatever you need. Plenty of room inside in a pretty cool looking design, if I say so myself. So yeah, there we go. That is my Viking Stave Church design. I think it would make for a pretty cool base with plenty of space, and yeah, definitely good vibes. And of course you can add more Viking buildings next to it. But yeah, definitely should serve you pretty damn well with the space that is available. So hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial as well. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and feel free to leave suggestions for future tutorials down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.